The story of the Hoonicorn begins in 2014, when Ken Block set out to create a machine that could push Gymkhana driving into an entirely new dimension. Rather than choosing a modern car, the decision was made to base the project on a 1965 Ford Mustang. Not because it would be easier, but because it would be dramatically more challenging. The team at RTR, led by Vaughn Gittin Jr., transformed what was once a classic muscle car into a purpose-built monster unlike anything the automotive world had seen. They designed the chassis from the ground up, essentially creating a tube-frame racing platform that only resembled a Mustang from the roofline and general silhouette. This fictional 1965 Mustang quickly became known as the Hoonicorn V1. At the heart of Hoonicorn, V1 was a 6.7-liter, naturally aspirated Roush-Yates V8, delivering 845 horsepower without the help of turbocharging or supercharging. This engine drew heavily from NASCAR technology: high revs, brutal throttle response, and a raw power delivery that demanded extreme skill from the driver. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the car was its all-wheel drive system, which shocked motorsport fans worldwide. At a time when AWD drift cars were nearly unheard of, the Hoonicorn proved that with the right engineering, it was possible to slide all four wheels with precision and violence. Power was routed through a SADEV 6-speed sequential transmission known for near-instant shifts, an essential trait for the fast-paced, unpredictable maneuvers of the Gymkhana series. Beyond the powertrain, the Hoonicorn featured a series of rare and lesser-known engineering decisions that highlighted the obsessive detail behind its creation. For example, the steering system was built from scratch to allow an extreme steering angle far beyond the capability of normal drift cars. Every component had to work flawlessly at abnormal angles and stresses. Ken Block's steering wheel position was intentionally placed slightly closer to his body than in a typical racing setup, allowing him to make incredibly fast, precise corrections during technical driving sequences. Much of the car's electronics were stripped out, not because they weren't useful, but because pure mechanical consistency offered a more predictable feel for drift driving. Even wheel speed sensors were intentionally disabled to keep the car's behavior consistent and analog. The exterior of the Hoonicorn V1 was as functional as it was aggressive. Its full carbon fiber body panels kept weight down while improving rigidity, and the wide body profile was inspired by 1960s Trans Am racing. Unlike typical aerodynamic design that focuses on high-speed grip, the Hoonicorn's body was engineered to maintain balance during long, controlled drifts. When the car debuted in Gymkhana 7, its performance stunned audiences. It slid through Los Angeles with a level of precision and power that instantly made the Hoonicorn an icon. Yet, despite its overwhelming success, the team behind it already had their eyes on something even more extreme. 2 years later, in 2016, the Hoonicorn returned as a completely reimagined beast. Known as the Hoonicorn V2, the car retained the same basic chassis and body shape, but almost everything else was dramatically upgraded. The most significant change was the addition of two massive Garrett turbochargers that protruded directly through the hood, giving the car its now signature demonic appearance. With these turbos feeding the Roush-Yates V8 and methanol replacing gasoline, the engine output skyrocketed from 845 horsepower to a staggering 1,400 horsepower. Methanol played a crucial role. It acted as both fuel and coolant, allowing the engine to run higher, boost pressures without overheating or detonating. The turbo placement through the hood was not merely for aesthetic effect. Shorter piping meant faster spool, better airflow, and easier maintenance during shoots. The team revealed that the cutouts for the turbos were not even part of the original plan. They were created by hand shortly before filming because there was no place else for the turbos to go. The switch to methanol and twin turbos brought incredible power, but it also caused new challenges. During early testing, the chassis began to twist due to the sudden torque spikes. Reinforcements were added, making the V2 even stronger and more capable. Hoonicorn V2 also featured a rally-inspired anti-lag system, keeping the turbos spooled even during quick throttle lifts. This allowed Ken Block to maintain relentless power delivery during the tight technical moves required in Gymkhana and Climbkhana. Despite the massive increase in power, the AWD system remained relatively similar, though nearly every internal component had to be reinforced to handle the additional stress. Even the tires had to evolve. Toyo developed custom versions of the R888R specifically for the car, built to withstand enormous wheel spin and heat. The Hoonicorn V2 became most famous for its performance on Pikes Peak during Climbkhana. The combination of all-wheel drive, lightweight construction, and 1,400 horsepower allowed Block to attack the mountain with a level of aggression that had never been seen before. Rare behind-the-scenes details reveal that the flames bursting from the hood during warm-up were so intense that the crew had to keep a safe distance until the car settled into its rhythm. The methanol-fueled engine gave the Hoonicorn a unique sound and a violent character that made it instantly recognizable even without seeing the car. Over time, the Hoonicorn V1 and V2 became more than just machines. They became symbols of engineering creativity, driver skill, and the idea that automotive limits can always be pushed further. Their legacy continues not only in the Gymkhana series, but also in video games, car culture, and the imaginations of builders worldwide. The transformation from V1 to V2 tells a story of innovation, risk, and extreme performance, capturing the essence of what made Ken Block's projects so groundbreaking. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to dive even deeper into the machines that shaped automotive history, make sure to subscribe to Motor Milestone. Your support helps us continue exploring legendary builds, uncovering rare facts, and telling the stories behind the world's most iconic engineering milestones. Hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and join the Motor Milestone community as we keep pushing forward on this journey through the greatest machines ever created.